2 tips for lighting in general that are helpful if you have a low budget. One, if you're shooting somebody, have them facing a window, especially if it's the daytime. A window is always pretty good soft light that it mimics exactly what most people do when they're trying to make professional lighting. Number 2, move people around so that their faces look like they're in good lighting with the practical lights.
This is episode 101 of the Arts Academy podcast with Victor Varnado and Roxxy Haze. How to film sketch comedy.
Everybody, this is the episode called How to Film Sketch Comedy. Yes. Just to give you a idea of our experience in that realm, I've filmed some comedy bits for TV shows. I've been both actors and directing random little comedy bits. But I would think that the most I've ever done for sketch comedy filming has been personal projects, because I just love making funny sketches and music videos. And I don't even care. Sometimes I'll just do them with my phone. Sometimes I'll do them with a more elaborate setup. But I'm all about comedy and film. And so I will have a lot of opinions. Ignore whatever you want.
And most of my stuff is digital stuff. I when we filmed my sketch show, I was talent and directing, and I edited it, and then I do all my own social media stuff. Like I film and edit all of those sketches, and am in it, which is a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, digital.
Well, let's talk about. Well, I mean, there's so much about filming sketch comedy. I mean, one thing. Okay, so when we're talking about filming sketch comedy, we're just going to talk about the process of actually putting it on video. The planning process that happens before that is a whole nother thing about how to do all of the pre-production. We are going to talk a little bit about pre-production now, but I don't think we're going to get super, super deep. Okay, so if you're going to film sketch comedy, apparently you've got a script. You've got a script, and first of all, you should get your team together. I think that getting a team together first is a good idea, especially if you don't have a budget, because maybe you can save money by someone on your team. For instance, once I did a sketch where I actually did a project where we needed a giant poster, and someone was a teaching assistant or something at the new school, so they could use the printing system there for free. And so, like, getting your team together and then figuring out all the stuff that you need, or figuring out all the stuff you need and taking it to your team immediately, is a great way to save money. Yeah. And then I would also say, please go through a couple of videos about how to shoot. If you don't know how to shoot, there's plenty of videos online to like learn how to shoot, or make sure somebody on your team knows how to shoot. But thing number one is getting your team together. If you're going to shoot a video, these are the things that are most important. Sound is number one. Hearing people is the most important thing, more important than the visuals, is being able to hear if your sketch is an audio sketch of any kind. If it has audio in it of any kind, you want to be able to hear people. That's like the most important thing. Number two most important thing is the visuals. So with the sound, I would say the easiest way to set up sound is, if you have a little bit of money, use a boom pole and a mic on a boom. You can get that whole setup probably for, on the cheap side, under $100, or you can rent it for way cheaper than that, probably like $20.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and there's plenty of places to rent things from online. There are places where you can rent things from that are actually warehouses, and there's also a peer-to-peer rental place, much like a Airbnb, but for cameras and production gear. Like it's Airbnb, but for that. So you can rent from other people who just have cameras and stuff sitting around. What is the name of that site? Oh, okay. I have to Google it right now just so we know what it is, so I don't peer here to peer camera rental. Oh, Share Grid. Share Grid.
Share Grid.
Yep, Share Grid. SHAREGRID. Anyway, learn about the minimums of cinematography and sound. This is not a course on how to shoot, but this is about more specifically how to get a sketch comedy film up and running. All right. So once you've got your script, next thing you do is you usually break down your script. You list all of the props you need. You list all the locations you need. You list all you list all the props you need. You list all the locations you need. You list all the costumes you need. And you make what is called a shooting schedule. A shooting schedule is usually the list of shots that you have to get to make your scene work, or to make your sketch work, or make your final film work. I'm calling it a film because I'm educated. Anyway, so it's a shot list is a list of all the shots you need to make your piece work. You should have gone through your script and done a shot list. Usually you go through and you decide what shot you need to make sure each moment is told correctly in your story. And then you take those shots and you arrange them in a shot list, meaning you'll probably shoot all the shots of a certain location at one time, or you shoot all the angles within that location at one time. So you only have to do a what's called a turnaround, which is what's called a turnaround. You only have to do that once in a while. A turnaround, by the way, is what's referred to as whenever you have to pick the camera up and then move it, and then also generally like move the lights as well. It just means that the camera is going to point a different direction, which usually means that all the lighting changes, which usually means that you have to take a lot of time from your crew. And so people try to shoot with as few turnarounds as possible in general. All right. So recording audio separate from the video is important. You can use a boom. You can use a boom with a recorder. You can use a personal recorder with a lapel mic. You can use your phones. You can put your phone, just have it audio record and put it in your top breast pocket to get separate sound. You definitely want your sound to work. It's the most important thing. If you got no money, just use your phone, put it in your pocket. If you got old phone headsets, you can actually put your phone in your pocket, put in some old phone headsets, cut off everything about those headsets except for the microphone. It still works as a microphone. So then your phone becomes like a super cheap lapel mic that you can tape to your shirt and use it like a lapel mic, and you can record audio and have each person just record their own audio if you just have like old headsets with
so you'll cut the earbud parts off and you'll just keep this part,
right? Yeah, as long as you don't cut below the mic part, then you're good.
Why do you want to cut this part off? Is it just because
you don't have to, but it's just like if you want to hide it underneath your shirt, the less of it there is, the better.
Got you. Okay.
All right.
Cut something today.
So when you're actually filming, one way to save time is to use more than one camera, so that you can cover multiple angles. You can shoot faster. That's not always an option, but if you do have that option, shooting with multiple angles is great. Depending on what you're outputting, multiple angles can be like a phone, an iPad, as long as you set it up correctly. It doesn't. I'm talking on the low budget side too. I'm just saying, like, if you want to just knock out a sketch, you can do it with your phone, and you can make some amazing things with your phone. It is like the lighting I mean, I don't have to convince you how good a phone is. There's been movies released that have been shot on phones at this point,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it's good enough for your sketch. The lighting, the lighting is obviously uh, an issue if you're working with a very small team. If you don't have people to light with you and you don't have lighting equipment, one thing that you can do is use natural lighting. It's actually really easy to use natural lighting. Here are 2 tips for lighting in general that are helpful if you have a low budget. One, if you can have, if you're shooting somebody, have them facing a window, especially if it's the daytime. A window is always pretty good soft light that makes that it mimics exactly what most people do when they're trying to make professional lighting. So
Mm-hmm.
having someone look at a window is simple. Um, number number two, move people around so that their faces look like they're in good lighting with the practical lights. Like if you if you can make a scene look better by moving over 5 feet and shooting so that the overhead light isn't right above your target, or you can turn on a lamp and shoot near that lamp and still
Mm-hmm.
get your message across with that scene. Just move people. Just like utilize what you have. If you don't have a lot of money, but pay attention to the lighting, because again, your audience doesn't know what your setup is like. They only know what they're seeing. So try to make it
Mm-hmm.
as good as possible, whatever it is that they're seeing. Um, then once when you uh when you're done filming, next step, of course, is editing. This is funny. I mean, I understand that we're going through all these steps, but of course, like some of them seem rudimentary, let's say. But I mean, I just want to give a quick overview about editing. Now, editing nowadays can be done in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different ways to edit. There's a lot of different systems to edit. You can edit on your phone. What's the app to use to edit on your phone?
I use InShot, and I just started using, was it CapCut?
Right, CapCut is really popular,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never used InShot, but yeah, there's a lot of apps that you can use to edit on your phone. I would say that if you're just getting into editing, use the app that everybody's using. The reason I would say that is because there's probably a lot of help online
Mm-hmm.
for you, and so if you use the app that everybody else is using, you could always find answers to your technical issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I edit a lot in Adobe Premiere. I also use Descript for editing. Descript is a great app. I guess we should put Descript in our notes. We should put an affiliate link in our notes. But Descript is a great app because uh, you can put video in there and it transcribes it, and then you can edit the transcribed uh, text, and then that edits the video as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty powerful because you can put together your script and all the lines like pretty quick just by cutting and pasting the dialogue, and then you've got like a basic cut of your sketch that fast, which I adore. Are you not down with that?
Oh, I've never used it, so I don't have anything to. It
You don't
sounds
have anything?
helpful.
You're
Yeah.
being so helpful during this episode.
I mean, you just riding through it, man.
Well, what are you?
Uh,
Well, what do you mean? What do you? Don't you
oh,
want to jump in at all?
uh,
You don't have to. I'm just.
well, no, I meant riding through it. Like you kind of you hitting all the points. I don't really have nothing to add. Uh,
Why
I'm
don't you add
learning.
my fart?
Okay, I'm gonna add a fart in there because I edit also in Premiere, so I'll be adding a fart. I will say, oh, I will add this though. If you're just doing like social media sketches and it's like something really short and quick, TikTok is also just great for editing stuff. Like you can do a green screen effect, all that stuff in TikTok. And it's not the best quality, but it's quick. If you're
It's
trying to do
good
like
enough.
quick stuff, yeah, it's good enough for what you trying to do if it's something short.
Uh, so usually in the editing, first comes usually the actual editing of I call what I call a radio edit. So usually if it's like if there's a lot of dialogue, we do what's called a radio edit, which just means that we make sure all the dialogue works, and then we start making sure all the visuals work.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's like how we do it usually for TV, for especially for documentary, where like the message or the information is usually the most important thing. But if you're trying to do a sketch that's a more visual sketch, then obviously the visuals matter a lot. And so the each and so what I usually do is I go through the footage and I will mark performances that really work, so that then I can take those performances and use them as the bulk of cutting together whatever sketch it is.
Mm-hmm.
Audios, make sure the audio and video is good, and then once they are good, then you usually do a color matching run on all your footage, so you make sure like the colors match. Then usually you will add in any visuals on top of that, so like if there's like text or if there's visual effects or whatever, so you do that after it's color matched. Why? Because then you don't have, because at one point you're going to want to make your footage match each other. Like you want to make each shot match together and have a full color palette for your whole this is a lot of people don't even have to, you don't have to do color palettes for a lot of sketches. Like if you're going to make a TikTok sketch, you don't need this part. but if you're trying to make like a full on like a full on sketch that is like
filming for
mirroring
something,
a short film or something like that, then you're going to want to do the color matching. Then you would add in your visuals and special effects, and then you would do an overall color scheme, like maybe like a blockbuster movie look or whatever it is that you're doing. And then finally, I would say take that sketch, send it to some people, get some feedback before you put it in public. If it's a big deal, if it's a TikTok sketch, just go for it.
Because you can always take it down.
Unless you're a giant TikTok channel, in which case screen it ahead of time. Like one of the biggest guys online, Mr. Beast, like they do budgets and screenings of their TikTok things before they go up.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, they take it very seriously.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of money. Can't be messing around.
And next step after that is then of course share it around and get those accolades that you always wanted, and then scoop up them checks when people start running to you and be like, you're the funniest person in the world.
It's like, yeah, I am. Pop, 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 get that bread. Post on everything. I always like to say that, unless you're like, LinkedIn and you don't want to post on there. But a lot of people be like, oh, I'm just posting this or just post it on everything. It doesn't matter. Just post it.
Yeah. And if this wasn't enough for you, if you're like, okay, this is a good overview of how to film sketch comedy, what I really need is a longer dive deep on each step, then maybe we can do episodes on each step. Just let us know. Tell us what you need, and we will do it and have fun making those sketches. Please send me some links. Let me see what you got.
Yeah, get out there. Put yourself out there, man.
Check us out at artsacademypodcast.com. I am Dean Victor Varnado.
I'm Headmistress Roxxy Haze.
There she is. Now she's talking, everybody.
Yeah, I crashed a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I was crashing.
You are so you're just
Don't
like half asleep.
Yeah, that pre-workout was wild. I'm gonna make a sketch about it. See, draw inspiration from everything. You like how I brought that back?
Yeah, that was great. That was great stuff.
Check this out.
Everybody, thanks for checking this out. Please, we'll see you online. Love and kisses. Bye.
Mwah.
You can find us at artsacademypodcast.com.